What's going on, guys? It's MadManPlant. We are here in Arizona again at Arizona Moonlight on day 2 of our meet and greet as we tour this great state of Arizona for the next one day. Anyways, before we get forward, I want to start thanking my sponsors real quick. On the silver package, we got AC Infinity and Simple Solvents. For the bronze, we have Hygrozyme, No Clone Left Behind, and Deluxe F Productions. And today, we got somebody that really meets the criteria of the Smoke Busters platform, which is all about mental health, home-growing cannabis, smoking cannabis, and the lifestyle. Welcome to the show.
Elena.
Well, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is ElaineAZ's, and I'm born and raised in Arizona, and I have stiff person syndrome, and that's actually how I got turned on to cannabis.
Okay.
I originally was on hospice, and I was told that I wouldn't live past 30, and I'm 33 and thriving.
That's awesome.
What up? And actually, so I was at Mayo Clinic, they diagnosed me. And then I started getting into cannabis, and I started realizing that was taking my symptoms away. So we scratched this whole pharmaceutical mumbo jumbo.
Good.
Got off a lot of narcotics, things like that. And I basically healed myself with cannabis.
That is awesome. So talk a little bit about that experience. You were confined to a wheelchair before, you said, for most of your 20s?
Yes, so about 6 years.
No, so your whole entire life, you had walked until what happened?
I got actually a flu vaccine, and it was expired, and I ended up seizing and having a pretty bad anaphylactic reaction. And then I started getting these really bad neurological symptoms. I couldn't walk, I couldn't move my feet, started not being able to swallow. So my parents dove in and started giving me RSO.
How did they know about that?
My parents are hippies. They've been down
okay,
for
so
a while.
that really aided and assisted in that.
Yes, so without my parents, I probably never would have discovered cannabis and
Interesting. Okay.
the helpfulness of it. So you can either throw tons of pharmaceuticals at me or give me one puff of a joint. It brings me out of a seizure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so since then I've started cultivating my own cannabis through Moonlight Grow and really diving into it because I want to help other people find this cure.
So with that being said, how do you go from not walking to walking? What is the transitional stage that your body and your I guess your mind and everything are going through to make that? Because you have to relearn everything.
Yeah, I had to relearn even how to grocery shop, how to manage my time, how to drive again, how to feed myself, how to bathe.
So that syndrome affects your neurological to the point where you forget a lot of these things. So it's not just the physical movement, but actually time management, you said?
Yeah, it's almost it's executive functioning. It just screws it up. So yeah, I had to relearn how to even make lists, how to regulate again.
So what is that like looking back now, as far as that, is it hard to believe that you were in that state? Because I guess in a sense, you're reverting back to a premature stage, almost kind of like baby, where you need around the clock attention and
almost I had to be fed. I had to be almost walk to the bathroom. We would call 911 at least once a week to be suctioned because I would be choking on my spit.
Oh, you have a trach tube?
No, I have a port cath down here, but.
Oh, is it still active?
Yeah, so they whenever I have infusions, I go into that. But what my biggest thing was the fact that doctors kept pushing so much pharmaceuticals onto me, and weed was not okay. But then I started smoking the weed, and here it starts taking my symptoms away. And then the medical industry was still no, that's what's making you sicker.
Right. Exactly. So what type of medicine regimen were they trying to induce on you and everything?
Fentanyl.
Like straight fentanyl?
Yeah, patches of fentanyl patches because I was in so
I didn't
much
know
pain.
they came in patches.
Yeah, they came in patches. So I actually, time for me to come off of it, I was how do I get off? They're I don't know. And
you don't know?
Yeah. So
but you found a way to put me on it.
I found a way to get off of it, and I used RSO.
So talk a little bit about the psychology. How does it feel to be in a position where you're I'm an adult, or is your brain functioning at that point where you're I'm an adult, somebody's feeding me, somebody's helping me go to the bathroom, somebody's bathing me, and it's I just feel like, in my own opinion, because I've never been through something like that, but I just feel like I'd be very frustrated and angry.
I was mad at the world. I didn't
Oh
want to
yeah.
live. I didn't want to. I'm like, I'm an independent woman. I used to hike and backpack all along, like Europe by myself.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, prior to this, and so having to depend on my mom and dad to feed me was definitely not in my cards, and that, I think, made me feel like I wasn't good enough. I met my husband right post the point when I was able to start walking again. We still didn't know if I was going to be out of a wheelchair yet, but
That's good for him. He's here, right?
he is here. And so he ran towards me and he's like, I don't know life's gonna lead with you, but he leaned into the cannabis situation, and he's kind of helped me dose out my medicine and stuff like that. So
That's awesome. I think it takes a village, and when you have people like Lacey, my beautiful wife over there, that support you and that really, want to see you get better and do better, I think it also helps with that. Because in my opinion, I have no experience from this, but from the outside looking into your situation, it really seems like you had to make a mental decision whether do I allow this to be life and accept it, or do I fight to possibly walk again? Because how do you go from backpacking across Europe to being in a wheelchair, without some severe injury or car accident or something, falling off a 20-foot building, and it's your own body attacking you?
it's the biggest betrayal of your life.
Yeah.
And just laying in bed every day and waking up and knowing that like you're gonna have to go through it again was the worst. But I knew that there was something bigger inside of myself that was calling towards like, I need to fix this. And how do I fix it for other people? And how do I make this not be the life that they have to live?
So dive into the RSO, and particularly, what about RSO kind of like aid in that? Like, how does RSO make you better?
It takes away a lot of, when I was definitely doing the withdrawal situation, it took a lot away of the withdrawal situation. Okay. So the sweating, the vomiting, the nausea, definitely not overdosing, but like dosing it a little bit more than the rice for those situations was needed. And then the smoke part definitely just takes away the seizures. Like, you can give me 10 Valiums or 10 milligrams of Valiums and I can't get out of the seizure, but you give me one puff of a joint and I start coming down out of the seizure.
In a seizure situation, you can actually control your body enough to smoke?
No.
Well, how do you take one puff?
My husband has to usually sometimes
blow it
in my mouth, or and then blow it in my mouth.
Or just rub RSO in your gums.
In my mouth and in my gums. And then it takes about 15-20 minutes
to come out of it.
Yeah.
And do you have signs where you know that you're gonna go into it?
Oh yeah. So I'll start it feels almost like it's an aura. So it's just like seizures. You get it right in your tummy, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna happen. And so if it gets a little bit more, I know I gotta go smoke, and then I can avoid the whole situation.
But have you ever gotten to the point where it hasn't helped and you still had to go in? Has it ever been that bad? Because I'm sure,
yes.
Just like with asthma, they give you a rescue inhaler. I have asthma, right?
Right.
And I actually am on a steroid right now because my breathing percentage went down.
Ugh.
And I go to the pulmonologist a lot because I'm worried about smoking all the time. I don't want to get lung cancer or anything bad. And they were like, you're coming here to get the green light to continue smoking. I was like, absolutely. I was like, I want to play responsibly. And they just thought that was hilarious. But the point of it is, it's just I just with the rescue inhaler, you could still have a severe asthma attack where you still wind up in the hospital. And I don't think it's not the cannabis not being able to do its job, but your body is going through such a traumatic shock and stress at that point that it can be deadly. People die during seizures.
100%. Yeah, no, there's been times where it's not pulled me out and I've had to call 911 and they've had to give me anti-seizure medications that I've been admitted, put on oxygen just because it's just such a full body convulsion.
Yeah.
So that is always, but I never feel like marijuana fails me.
I don't think it fails you, but I do think just like brakes on the car, just because you hit your brakes at a fast rate of speed doesn't mean you're going to stop on a dime. It doesn't mean you're going to stop in time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just one of those things where I'm not discrediting it at all, but I am saying that you have a severe element where it could take your life in a situation, you know what I mean? So it's very scary.
It is super scary. And then on top of it, I try not to even ever go without weed. So I try to
I'm the same
microdose.
way. I smoke when I get up, when I'm going somewhere, when I get there, when I'm about to eat, when I'm done eating.
We could die.
Yeah.
We could die.
Oh, I just die of paranoia and anxiety. You have something a lot more life-threatening than I do. It's just cool, though, because I love the podcast is to tell the real stories of people like yourself who have experienced, traumatic stresses and situations and been able to use cannabis as a way of relief, better living, better quality of life, healthier decisions. And it's just cool to be here with you, to share that because, a lot of people who are in a situation where you may not walk again. You may have all these things. You may have this, you got this. And to have something that I think, too, not only provides that medicinal purpose, but also, imagine the psychological stresses that you were going through at those points and what your mindset were and how you saw the world and everything. And I'm sure that vibing, and I do it in my own, never in a situation extreme like that. But, I think cannabis too, that clarity, once you got your mind right, I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did it help with the acceleration of the success of getting everything back?
100%. I mean, because it kind of clears this pathway for you to start going on instead of just as being like bing, 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 ping pong.
Ping pong ball, yeah.
Yeah, so it gives you this whole clarity of like, all right, this is what I have to do to get better, and I'm going to do everything I can to get better. And, forget the depression, forget the anxiety. We just got to lean into all of it. And so I've had a lot of the depression, a lot of the anxiety. I have really bad PTSD. And that's another thing cannabis has also helped me with. A lot of sativa strains have helped me with my PTSD of that. Am I going to have an episode in the middle of like the mall or the middle of the airport? And those are the things that I deal with now that also cannabis is also helping me with is the psychological effects of after.
If you like dogs, you should think about a medical alert dog for seizures.
I actually have one that is in training right now.
Oh, fantastic.
His name is Noodles.
Oh, very cool.
I was a huge fan of.
Yeah, because they're great detectors. My trainer who works with Honey, she does seizure dogs, and the person will breathe into the dog, and the dog can smell like the breath and detect, like, I don't know how it works, but it's just crazy, what the animals can do, especially with that pre thing, because maybe that day you don't get that butterfly in your stomach and it just goes on, you know.
Driving, like I should be.
That would be the scariest thing for me, and having a medical emergency and then crashing and then dying because of the car accident because you're having something else happen,
Those, yes, a lot of I definitely get in the spiral of thoughts like, what if this happens and then this happens? Because I definitely get into what if I'm out and about and it's like at a bus stop and someone thinks I'm overdosing, and my dog's not with me, right? My dog, I need to have him with my medical information. If someone's like, oh, something's actually wrong with her, she's not just doing drugs and overdosing. Yeah. So
no, I definitely agree with you, especially that because there's no control and you could be going 70 miles an hour, have a seizure, be by yourself, and then what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and then without like that alert vest to show somebody like, hey, actually there's something else going on, would be SOL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome. Yes. How do we follow you? How do we support you?
I am ElaineAZ's on Instagram, and then I will be launching my website as of next weekend where you can rent Canna Control. I will also
That's awesome.
I'll also be doing clipping services if you want, and drying and also babysitting services for your plants. So
there you go.
Instagram.
An all-in-one, yeah.
Yeah, Instagram, ElaineAZ's.
Perfect. Well, this is awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony, your support to the community, sharing your story. We have more podcasts coming your way. We'll see you very shortly.